So I guess I forgot to mention that how humongous of a fan I am for The Last of Us. I am sucker for all the stuff created by Neil Druckmann, and after this gigantic release of the first game, I fell in love with all of that stuff. So after hearing that there will be an adaptation, I was down with the heat of the fan base.
Why? 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 Why?
Hey, how could you adapt a perfect story into a TV-centric medium or a movie? It just doesn't make any sense because it is made for this kind of a medium. It is made for a video game. This is how it became an art.
Okay.
So adaptation for The Last of Us is not a new thing. It was happening since the game's universal acclaim and its eventual downward spiral with The Last of Us 2. Oh, 2020 was not a good year for a Last of Us fan. Well, time certainly didn't show any mercy to this franchise, but Neil Druckmann showed his support. This idea of a television adaptation by the Chernobyl director. And as I mentioned earlier in my previous video, that with the TV show at hand, you have more ground to explore and cover your narrative in a wider depth or variety. As Neil Druckmann became the writer and Craig Mazin from Chernobyl became the director, and I was instantly down and thought they can make it work somehow. Well, the first trailer dropped and the casting was not on point, and the poster didn't do any justice in my opinion. The faces of Joel and Ellie were totally different as we were familiar with them in the game, as I had different ideas on my mind in terms of fan casting. But after the trailer dropped and when that Craig Mazin flavor of cinematography started to show its color and that on point character traits presented by the actors, I thought, yeah, this is gonna be a hell of a ride. And I'm glad to be saying this, The Last of Us, HBO's original, and that one is a great start for something new.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Well, let's get something straight. In my eyes, this is a reimagining which have the look and feel of the original. Throughout the show, I felt addicted to its own take in the narrative and visual presentation. The showrunners told us through this episode that they love the source material. The game in general also respect that you can see several Easter eggs when Sarah gives Joel the Curtis Vampire DVD, the movie which is visible in the CD section of the game, and the football lying around the living room of their house, which is the direct nod of Sarah being a football player in the video game. Okay, there are a lot of nods that made me do that Leo's pose.
Whoa, here I come.
So, about the performances, Pedro Pascal nailed it. Every aspect of his character. When they gave Pedro Pascal the role, I was in doubt due to his likeness for the role, but I knew that he will pull it off because why not? He's Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, the Game of Thrones guy. He's a great actor and he can play anybody. He also captured the essence of Joel's. There are moments where the survivor side of Joel is accurately portrayed when he leaves the family on the road in time of an outbreak. His selfish survivor mode is when he drops that little girl, and that was pretty dark. And there are some transitions that he goes through from 2003 to day one of the outbreak, which was freaking phenomenal.
God damn it!
Well, Bella Ramsey, yeah, I also had doubts with her, but she pulled it off. I don't know how, but she really did well. She has a lot on her shoulders, I can tell you that, because how important her character truly is, and I never felt left out by her performances. She played her part wonderfully, and yeah, they also created her backpack. That was a nice touch.
Where's Robert?
Now on to the environments and the world building. The Last of Us makes use of the environmental storytelling, which communicates with you throughout the game as it tells you what went wrong with this world. This episode just delivered that. with a MacGuffin of how the virus is a unique variant of fungi, and they talk about mankind always lose something that is kind of manipulative, I guess. But this was absent in that game. You got a little knowledge about how the virus works, but this kind of went for the insight of how this is gonna work for the virus, and we also get many glimpses of how your runners can be a bit more horrific. This gave us a sense of what we can expect. This show also expanded on the world building to the original, where it extended the screen time of Joel's previous life and how it crumbles along the world, where the setting 2003 really kicks in, like when Joel takes out his pager, which really shows that this is 2003 we are seeing, not the 2013 from the game. And it becomes quite visible when Sarah goes on to her daily life and notices strange things the world, which was not that advanced in terms of news and information, because she sees the helicopters, the sudden riots, because at that time social media was not a thing, and Twitter was not certainly there. I think it was a huge plus, along with life after outbreak, which shows how everybody's trying their very best to survive. And this is just the gist of it. This is freaking phenomenal. I didn't see any problems with it. I enjoyed it, and just I got that feeling that yeah, I'm watching that same thing. So I love the pilot of this adaptation, and I can't wait to experience what the creators have in store for us. So let me know, did you enjoy the pilot of Last of Us, and what are your thoughts about it? Hey, if you're a fan, then definitely like and subscribe to my channel, because I'm gonna make some content for Last of Us because it is close to my heart, that's why. So with that being said, I'm gonna find my light and wait for the next episode. Geek out.
Teamwork. Yeah.